everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of The Cat in the Hat, the 2003 quote-unquote comedy starring Mike Myers, an actor who I've always enjoyed in a number of things. And I remember finding out that he was going to be in a Dr. Seuss movie and being like, huh, yeah, it's got some potential. He's got the personality for it. I mean, he's played some pretty over-the-top characters, and that's a Seussian thing for sure. So I was into it. I wasn't, I didn't have my hopes up very high by any stretch of the imagination, but I was interested. And then I went and watched the movie, and oh my Lord, is it abysmal. I mean, this movie, like I said before, it's a quote-unquote comedy because there is nothing in it that I find remotely amusing. I mean, this movie is god-awful. I think it is just an abhorrent film. I mean, it just, so... I mean, it really takes the medium of film and makes it look horrible because, I mean, if you could imagine, like, an alien coming to Earth and be like, I'm going to watch a movie to see what humanity's like, and they watch this travesty, they'd be departing pretty quick because this movie is just god-awful. I mean, I really can't say enough about how much I hate it. I mean, Mike Myers, like I said, I mean, an actor who I've enjoyed in a number of things, and he seemed like an actor who should fit into a Seussian film fairly well. I mean, with his personality and his over-the-top mannerisms, and I will say in that regard, he was well picked because, I mean, he does definitely have that expressive kind of face that even under all that makeup and prosthetics, it still reads through. But unfortunately, I mean, this movie is just so lacking of anything remotely funny that he couldn't do anything with it. I mean, and he becomes, by the end of this movie, I hated him. I was like, oh my god, you're the worst. This is so bad, because I don't know what convinced him that if he made a joke and he laughed at it, that meant it was funny, because that is what he does throughout this entire movie. He's constantly making jokes and constantly like cracking up at them himself, like as if he thinks that's gonna make all the kids and all the audience members join in with him. And dude, that does not make your movie funny. It's just annoying and frustrating, because to have a character in front of you like every stupid joke, and they're all stupid, it's just it just reminds you, oh, they think I should be laughing right now, but they haven't done anything to earn it, so I'm not. And he's just so bad in this movie. I mean, if there's one thing I can say that was positive about this movie, is I thought that the visuals of it were done fairly well. But I mean, he takes away all of that because you can't focus on anything other than the just rotten, horrible jokes he makes throughout. It's just so frustrating and just terrible. And the funny thing too is, like, if you actually look at the cast of this movie, it is actually fairly impressive. I mean, you have the two kids in it, right, that are supposed to be the characters that all the kids are supposed to like empathize with and relate to. And the one of them is played by Dakota Fanning, who of course is a very talented actress. Back then, I mean, she was in I Am Sam and absolutely killed it, and she's been in several movies since then, has quite the career going, and I think deservedly so. I think she's very, very talented, but she's in this just god-awful movie. And you have the kid who would go on to play one of the elves in the Santa Claus movies, and he's not by any stretch of the imagination a big star, but he's at least somewhat recognizable. And then there's a number of cameos and smaller characters in this that are recognizable actors. I mean, you have Kelly Preston shows up, Alec Baldwin, Sean Hayes, Clint Howard, Paris Hilton, Dean Norris. I mean, the list just goes on and on of all these recognizable faces that pop up, and you're just like, I'm assuming they took this role just being like, oh, it's a Dr. Seuss movie, and maybe like, they have a kid or a relative, or they grew up liking Dr. Seuss, and they thought, oh, that that got some potential, and it's a recognizable name, so maybe the box office returns on it will be decent. But man, were they disappointed when they saw the just awful movie that came from it, because this is definitely a movie to avoid. At the end of the day, I mean, my thoughts on this movie, like, if I was gonna give it a grade out of 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 2, and the 2 is only because of how quality the visuals are in this movie, because again, I think they did a stellar job in that. I mean, the world that they created was actually quite impressive, and I just feel so depressed for the production designers and the people who clearly worked, the costume designers, and the people who worked really hard putting together a world, and the makeup on Mike Myers was great. I mean, I just feel bad for them because they did all that work in service of something that's just so awful. I can't stand this movie. So those are my thoughts on the Cat in the Hat. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. If you're a fan of it, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear some kind of explanation. And, you know, I'm not saying you're wrong to like it. I just would love to hear why. Other than all that, though, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that other people will come check out this review because they'll find out that it exists, which would be awesome. And if you are one of those people who are new here or you just haven't done it yet, please, please, please hit subscribe. Hit that notification bell. That way you'll find out when I put out a new video and you can come and check it out and let me know what you think, which would be awesome. Aside from all that, though, have yourself a good day.